Good afternoon, guys. Hope you're doing well on this Saturday. Thank you for staying with us. Again, I am your host, Ryan Coleman with Hometown Realty, and my co-host,
April Coleman.
We're here for you. Thank you for staying tuned, and we've got an exciting topic today. What are we talking about, April?
Today we are talking about who do you hire? An individual agent or a team of agents for your real estate needs?
Oh, that's going to be a good topic.
It's a good topic today.
So let's dive into that topic and what the difference is. And April, what's some insight on that? I mean, I know an individual agent has been around for years.
Right.
30, 40, 50 years has been a concept. But what would be the difference between an individual agent as what you're seeing kind of the new fashion in the real estate industry where everybody's a team?
Right. I think we should talk about that definitely. So from our approach, as we are an individual agent, that we have just a team that is vendors, support system, administrative staff to help you as the agent come in with, helping the listing and the selling and buying process, everything for everyone, instead of the team approach where there are 10, 12, 15 agents, with the team leader.
Sure.
That's what we're talking about today.
And I think that's a big difference. And we're here to educate. If you're thinking about selling your home, you may have done this multiple times over and over. This may be your first time in 20 years. And so we're just going to lay the facts out there and kind of give you some opinions. Our job is always to educate you and tell you the difference. I don't think either or is wrong. I think it's just what suits you and what's best for you and your family. Mm-hmm. And we just want to kind of explain the differences and the advantages. The team approach is where there's an individual, a leader of the team or the head figure of the team, and they have a lot of delegated administrative staff and a bunch of buyer agents and selling agents. Mm-hmm. And of course, the individual agent is the normal transaction that you're going to deal with. When you list your home with that person, more than likely you're going to be dealing with that person. When you walk through for the first time to explain all the features, benefits, and everything about that home, that person is going to know your home inside and out. It's not going to be a showing agent or a selling partner or something like that. So that's going to be the different approach. Now, I get into that approach, and we see this all the time, and we've helped a lot of customers, whether they've come off the market, maybe listed prior with another agent, then they went for sale by owner, then they come back and want to do something different. And the biggest thing, I think, is the communication breakdown, between an individual agent and a team agent.
Right.
And so some of the challenges that you're going to get there is, how many people does it take to be involved to sell your property? I mean, there's a lot to do to get a home sold. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, when the game's on the line, you're on the 20-yard line, who do you want in the game? I mean, you're going to put your PT player in, PTP, PTP, primetime player. And when the game's on the line, I mean, you got to go with Peyton. I mean, right. you've got to, right?
Our number one.
I mean, you have to. And so when you do that can't be a team approach. And so there's a lot of advantage, at least I know when I work in my business and a lot of customers that we have helped, is, Ryan, I want to know that I deal with you, and I know that you're going to be my agent. Of course, we have administrative staff, and everybody has some help in administrative work and team partners. But what we're talking is, when I'm going to list my house, are you going to help me through the transaction? Because we know that real estate is one of the most stressful situations that you can purchase.
Exactly.
And we usually know that it's important to keep mama happy during the process, right? Because if mama's not happy, no one's happy, right?
Ain't nobody happy.
And so that process, the challenge of what I see the communication breakdown is if the head agent is not actively involved in selling real estate and they're not even selling properties, number one, how do you know the market?
Right.
If you're not an expert at your craft, if you're not doing it every day, you can't expect to go out there and be an expert in your field. I don't care if you're a trial attorney, I don't care if you're a physician doing surgery, and I don't care if you're Peyton Manning. You had to put the work in.
Hands on.
Field. Hands down. I mean, you got to put the work in, and that's, nobody's delegating this show, right?
Right.
Hard work, a lot of work, a lot of prep, and it's not easy. Can't delegate that. And, consumers in this market, I mean, this is one of their largest investments. The game's on the line. They can't afford to have a rookie mistake. They can't afford to be delegated to a buyer agent, seller agent, in our opinion. And I think that there's advantages for that. We're different. And I think what we're seeing over the years, over my 20 plus years, buyers and sellers want to deal with, number one, somebody that they trust. Number two, that when they walk through the property and understand the market, that they understand specifically that if they go with you, Ryan, that they're not going to get passed off to this person, a buyer's agent. And I think that's so important that when you're moving, and we talked about it in one of the last shows, April, is that in this area, they expect to, when you close, actually be out that day.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I mean, so I had a customer tell me the other day, so when we have 30 days to get out? No, like a couple of days. Today.
No,
like the day they write the check, right?
Yeah.
Right.
It's so stressful.
So it's so stressful, you can't afford mistakes. You can't afford to have that communication breakdown. And I think that's where we get into that. And I think that's the advantage of having an individual agent with support staff that you can know and trust, that when you list that property, when you pay a certain commission, you're going to get that person. And then the advantage of, a team approach, I guess you could say, hey, we have a team approach, we have a whole bunch of buyers that are, agents that are working, and that's an advantage for you. But I think in this market, we know we've come out of a 5-year cycle, right? Hands down, the market goes up and goes down. Real estate is volatile. And in order to know your market, you have to be in the game. Just like in radio broadcast, you got to know your competition. In marketing, you have to know your other marketing competitors. Pepsi, Coca-Cola, they're going head to head all the time, right? Do you think those guys are not engaged in their market? And so I think those are some of the things that are important, that if you're doing business every day, you want an agent that's done those transactions. We see it all the time, and I think that's something for the consumers to say, well, this team said they've sold, 200, 300, 400 houses. That's great. Did that agent sell 400 houses? Because we're not talking transaction. This is not an ego contest. This is not about how great I am, how many awards, how many plaques. It's not about that. It's always about the customer. We talked about this show. What can we do to help you? We're in a service position. And if we can't bring value, and we can't be a benefit, then we don't want to do any business.
Right.
I mean, we've got to bring value to help you and your family on one of the biggest moves that you're going to make. And if we're not doing that at a high level and you can't count on us, what value are we? Are we just going to put a sign in the yard and hope somebody sells it, right? Or are we going to market more about ego or more about you? Our business, our company is always about you. How can we help service you? We talk about a heart of a teacher here at this office and how we run our philosophy. It's always how can we serve you, how we can benefit you. Because remember, at the end of the day, we're always going to be win at the end. It's a team approach. We can't do this without you. Whether we're having a great buyer that understands, that's motivated to what they're looking for, and really be committed, having a seller that's committed to moving to Texas, their family's apart, they can't afford to have a rookie mistakes. I mean, you just can't. I mean, the market's too volatile. They need somebody that they can trust, an expert. And I think there's just the difference, to understand that if you're selling 400 homes or 300 homes, if you do the math, it's 10 deals per agent.
Well,
or is it less than that? I'm not sure.
Well, when I actually was researching for our topic that we were talking about today, you'll find this pretty crazy, but during my research, I found that there was this one agent in California with a big name company, and he is the #1 agent in California and the, I think, 5th agent overall in this company in the whole United States. And I was like, wow, I wonder how many transactions he's done for himself. That's crazy. And said 175 transactions last year. So I just started digging further, went to his website. He has 9 agents that works with him. So I thought, well, that's not really a lot when you look at it. That's like less than 20 sales per agent. So really, he's not the #1 agent. He has listing agents and buyer agents helping him. So I found that odd. But also, if you remember, we have an agent that's the #1 agent in Tennessee as well.
Sure.
So I did some research on him because apparently he sold 798 homes.
Oh, that's a lot of homes. That's a lot of work. That's a lot of work.
A lot. And so I went to his website and I thought, I know he's not doing 798 by himself.
He'd fall out. He'd fall out. That sounds like a lot of work.
Exactly. And so I looked up on his website, and you know what it says? You know how many agents he has?
I don't know, but hey, that's a great topic. Let's carry that on over to the break. Thank you for staying with us, guys. This is Real Estate with Ryan, and we're going to be talking that topic on the other side of the break. Stay with us.
Okay.
In the competitive real estate market, Ryan Coleman has a track record with guaranteed results.
Ryan made the sale of our home seamless. He was there every step of the way.
And our home sold the first week for full price.
With his knowledge and expertise, he took away all our worries.
And he got us much more money than we had ever expected.
Ryan is so confident that he will sell your home, he's willing to put his own money on the line. If he can't sell it in the time frame agreed upon up front, he'll buy it himself. Ryan Coleman with Hometown Realty, your home sold guaranteed.
Hey guys, Ryan Coleman. Thank you for staying with us after the break there. We were talking about when you're hiring your next agent, are you going to hire an individual approach versus a team approach? And we were trying to break some of that down. I want to remind you guys, thank you for staying with Real Estate with Ryan. We're here every Saturday, 5 o'clock on News Talk 98.7, where you're going to get the up-to-date information, everything that's going on in the real estate market. So make sure you stay tuned to our show. We try to keep you informed and keep you up to date with what's going on. And you can also follow us on Facebook, and we'll also Facebook Live. Like our page. Keep up to date with us. We're going to try to let you know some stats. Spring market's going to be coming, summer market, and we want to keep you up to date with what's happening in the Knoxville market. So keep us in mind, and if you ever need us, 693-SOLD, best number in real estate.
You got it.
You got it.
All right, let's continue with that topic with the number one team in Tennessee with 798 homes sold, and they had a total of 80 realtors on their team.
Oh, that's a lot of cats to herd.
Yeah. Well, do you know what the average, if they sell 798, 80 realtors, an average of 10 homes a year is what they sell.
And they're the number one team.
And they're the number one team.
Right. That's still a lot of deals. You got to give them credit. That's a lot of deals.
It is a whole lot. So that's the team approach. That's how many that they do. So in the National Association of Realtors, we looked up their stats, and the average agent sells about 12 homes a year. And so that's pretty much less than, average. But that's coming from, everyone says that they're number one agent, but really they're number one with the team approach.
Well, we know there's a big company out there. We won't mention any names, but they're big on number count. How many agents do we have? They're more concerned on number count than production and profitability for the company.
Right.
I know a lot of brokers. I'm a broker. I've owned large franchises out there. I hated the team approach. There's no money as a broker to manage a bunch of agents.
Right.
They take up tons of space in the office. They're a lot of babysitting. They're hiring a bunch of new agents that are coming in, and you got a lot of headache as a broker to babysit all those agents.
Right.
And profitability for the broker, the real estate firm, they don't make much more money. It's not profitable. They do it because, it's numbers, transactions, but I'm over quality over quantity. I'm big about that. We don't take every deal that we go on. We get a bunch of calls, and if we don't think we can help you and service you, we're just not going to throw another listing on the board or just throw a buyer in the car. I think it's got to be a good fit. And if you're thinking about hiring an agent, it's a mutual agreement, right? Mm-hmm. And I think we just want to educate you that it's not about how many teams. If you add 5 agents up and they do 200 transactions and you're selling 20 homes, does that make you a great agent? Maybe. I think it's experience. And how many times have you been in the game when the game's on the line, you're down 7, you need to go down and put it in the end zone. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And guess what? You got 60 seconds on the clock.
Right.
You're going to trust in your guy. We talked about it. And that he can deliver. And I think when the market changes, where the market's hot, you want premium price. We did a stat the other day, and this is astonishing, and we talked about it last night, was NAR also did a stat on for sale by owners. Mm-hmm. And on average list price was $240. Do you know what they're netting?
Oh, what?
$185.
Wow.
So there's a difference. There's a lot of money on the table. You can't afford to make the wrong decision. Mm-hmm. I always encourage, if you're looking for an agent or to buy into selling, it doesn't hurt to shop, to at least talk to 2 people.
Yes. And
we'd always like to be that company to interview. Right. Whether it's us or somebody else, we'd like to show you what we do and how we're different. And at the end of the day, you've got to make the decision. I always say it's a gut decision. Mm-hmm. How you feel good about that person. Do you have a working relationship? End of the day, trust. Do you trust they're going to go to work? I think the biggest predictor of future performance is past results, right? You know, if you've been in tons of transactions, you personally, and I don't mean your 10 buyer agents, right? I mean, so if you're not actively selling in the market today and don't understand what Gettysview is doing versus this other neighborhood, and you don't understand how to price a home and understand what's important with the seller and how we need to attract that specific buyer. Not, I mean, a high-end buyer, you've got to target to a specific audience.
Right. Oh, because we did have a customer, right?
Sure.
That we were trying to find a home for.
Right.
Who was that? And then
We're mentioning names, but yeah,
right.
it was a great customer. It was one of our customers that actually just sold in Gettysview. Right. But we talked about that, and we ended up we put 4 offers on a property. It was wild. So it was a lot of work. But we found the home that they were looking for. And one of the homes we came across was one of our competitors. And they've got the big team concept and things. And the home, when we made the offer, when we ran the numbers for the subdivision, even if we're in a good market, it was $50,000 overpriced. In our conversation with the agent was he didn't know. He didn't know. He had no idea. He didn't have no idea of the comps in the neighborhood.
Oh, why is that?
Well, I think that agent or that buyer agent was no longer with the company. So we talk about communication.
Right.
So they're no longer with the company. They don't have a relationship with the seller. He stepped in, and he didn't have a clue.
Wow.
And so we did the work for him. We presented the offer. Again, we're working for our buyer. But at the same time, the buyer understood. My buyer was very educated, understood the market, what was going on. Didn't have a problem paying fair market value, just not above.
It's not overpriced.
So it was on the market for 4 months in a hot part of West Knoxville,
Oh, wow.
and it hadn't sold. And it's the first offer that they got. Literally, we got into a spat with the agent, and I don't know, the guy did some kind of rant on Facebook or something, and said, I don't know what he said, but you think that house is still on the market?
Oh, yeah.
Well, you know it's on the market. We just checked it.
Yeah.
And so that's the difference. You'll hear in the news that the market is hot, things are moving. It is, but we talk so many homes that are on the market that don't sell.
And you have to know. You have to know who you're working with, the home that you are listing, and the price that it should be.
See, I just don't agree with that team approach. I think if you're going to pay me X, which is a lot of money on the line, you can't afford to be playing games with my house.
Right.
I'm being relocated to Texas. I can't afford to have somebody brand new in the business come out to my property. And there's nothing wrong with that. But this kind of approach and this topic, there's no communication. There wasn't education on the front end. We know in this market 2 factors, and we've talked about it. It's pricing and motivation. I don't care any market, whether it's 07, 08, or 10, or present now. If you're not motivated and you don't have a reason to do what you're going to do, home's not going to sell. Now, I know you as a seller, you want as much as you can get. We deal with it every time. You want more than the market. I'm with you. I'd be the same place, right? But the buyer wants it as cheap as they can get it.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's our job not to just tell the client what they want to hear, but it's to guide them as a counselor and to educate them on the process. And if that means turning the listing down, we'll do that before we put our name out there and get through a 5 or 6 or 7 month process where there's just extreme frustration.
Right.
And there's no reason that home's on the market.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have the right agent out there marketing for you and pushing for you, those kind of things happen. And so I can't tell you countless times that we've had customers where we've listed and sold, different kind of approach. They reduced the price, didn't even know the list price of the house. She said, oh no, she didn't even know what our price is of the house.
Oh, wow.
And so our philosophy at Hometown Realty and how we operate is there's some things that can be delegated. But when the game's on the line, I'm not passing the ball.
Right.
We want the ball, we want to score, and we want to help you accomplish your goals. And the only way we're going to do that is hard work, right? It's preparation. We can't outsource the data to India or China or wherever they're doing. You got to put the hard work in. You got to know your market. You got to know You got to know North Knoxville. You got to know West Knoxville. You got to know Sevierville, because the markets there are different. And if you're not actively, the agent, working in the market every day, buyers and sellers, how can you guide and make a right decision? Because I promise you, as you see the spring and summer market heat up, that if you don't know that market and you're not making right offers, we will turn your offer down nonstop.
Right.
And if you don't come presentation, pre-approval, understanding the market, doing your comparables ahead of time, you're going to lose out.
Mm-hmm.
And as for a buyer, you can't afford to miss out on the dream home that you're looking for because you hired an agent that's not leading you and guiding you in the right direction.
Right.
That's all I'm saying. Team approach may work for some, but don't get involved in the numbers. If you're hiring an agent, it's not about how many, add 10 agents with, 100, 200 transactions. It's about experience.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you're only going to know that. Yes, you're going to hear it on the internet and all the fluff, but I think you know that by when you look at them eye to eye and interview them and then go through their marketing plan and then ask for references.
Definitely.
This show has pushed really quickly. As you can see, we can talk about this for days.
Oh, yeah.
April, you got some closing topics?
Yes, I just want to bring up that we have a couple listings that are coming soon on Lechmere's Point in 37922 and Wooddale Drive in 37912. And so look for those that are coming on the market. And we also want to congratulate the Raziks that we've been working with that just bought that home in Gettysview.
You guys are listening to Real Estate with Ryan every Saturday. News Talk 98.7, 5 o'clock. You can reach us at 693-SOLD or visit us at ryancoleman.org. Till next weekend, take care.
Thank you.